All right, so I am going to call this lecture, I'm numbering it 24.5 because we're sort of halfway between week 12 and week 13. There are 2 more weeks left after this Thanksgiving week, so 4 lectures, and typically there are 28 lectures per semester, and this is, the 29th lecture, but let's go ahead. I want to just take a quick peek at the website first. I'll go back because I clicked out of the website, or the Moodle shell, to take a peek at Summary 5. So we're going to start here on geothermal. I'll go ahead and highlight that. Is that the projector making all that noise? Oh, it's the AC. Okay. Yeah, because if the projector starts making noise, we need to change the filter. Okay, so geothermal is chapter 9 of 10. I also wanted to just take a quick peek at Summary 5. It's a little bit different. The final chapter in this book is about integration. So, as you've surmised, all of the chapters in this book cover a different form of renewable energy. And then chapter 5 is sort of integrating them. And there's a lot of things in that integration chapter that are similar to what we're going to see in ETEC 214, some economics, some different storage strategies like hydrogen. And this little article that we came across a couple of years ago seemed like a reasonable look towards the future. So I was very skeptical about this at first, and one thing that I used to stress a lot in NRG Y102 was this whole concept of the photosynthetic ceiling. I know I've mentioned it a little bit. It's a concept that Jared Diamond threw out there a while back. But when I read, I apologize for this. What I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to take the text.
Well,
it's a different website every day,
For sure.
All these ads were not there the last time we looked at it, I promise you.
Debuted over a decade ago, but really it's matured wonderfully. Well, they have.
So I'm just going to take the text. I'll paste it here. I'll grab this. Oh, thanks.
Turkey's gone, but someone's still hungry, because this Black Friday, Diane has a craving for savings.
So this was first published in April of 2014, and so we've used it for, for 2 semesters in 2014. This is like the 4th time I've looked at this article. Article hasn't changed. The ads have.
Win the holidays at Best Buy. Doors open at 5 p.m. on Thursday and 8 a.m. on Friday. Always open online.
Let me just sort of follow through on my thoughts here. And I don't know why it's scrolling so slowly. Copy that. Take this.
Diane's still hungry this Black Friday, so she's chewing up savings on a Dell laptop, a 60-inch Samsung 4K TV, and more. Diane's stuffed and so is her cart. Win the holidays at Best Buy.
Oh yeah, I did.
The
I skipped
Tucson
one.
is completely redesigned for
one little
2016
paragraph.
with a reworked interior and restyled body. There's a new powertrain choice as well.
Is it right here or up
1.6
here?
liter turbo bolted to a 7-speed
Nice.
dual clutch transmission.
Okay, so I'll just read this for a little bit and tell you the part that should make you skeptical when you first read it. So decades of experiments, the U.S. believe they may have solved one of the world's great challenges, how to turn seawater into fuel. Well, we all know that there's a lot of H2O in seawater, and so part of that is hydrogen. And so there's no real mystery there. I mean, first you have to get the salt out, then you electrolyze it, and then the hydrogen becomes your storage media. But where does the energy come from? You know, there's not just energy. I mean, there's potential energy sitting in the water if it turns into a wave or a tidal, something like that. But and then of course there's some chemical energy perhaps, but that's not really what's going on either. So and this is where journalism and scientific literature don't always meet or see eye to eye or whatever. So this is develop their own fuel. But the fuel, the primary energy, so think all the way back to the first couple chapters of 101, where's the primary energy for that coming from? And that's why I mentioned Diamond's photosynthetic sealing, because if we sort of look at a ship, so here I'll just draw like an aircraft carrier kind of thing, sitting out on the ocean. Here's your ship. Here's the sun. Now, obviously, you've got your fuel tank sitting down in here, and so that energy came in on shore. It's then, oxygen comes in, combines with the fuel, turns it into propulsion, the ship moves forward, CO2 comes off. That's kind of the conventional energy cycle. But if you're going to make your own fuel at sea, where's the input, right? So getting back to Diamond, are they putting a whole bunch of solar panels out on this guy and then using this to split hydrogen and oxygen? Is that what's going on? How are they actually making fuel? So that's something to consider, because the photosynthetic sealing dictates that it's another way of stating the first law of thermodynamics, that you can't get more energy out of something than you put into it. So the energy has to come from somewhere. And more or less all of this fossil fuel was made by the sun a really long time ago, and then was sequestered and squished by the ground and more or less purified into some pretty impressive biofuels. But let's read on. Okay, so and again, the question is this research coming out of the NRL, or are they merely commenting on it? Because the Navy does have its own research laboratory. So here's a vice admiral. I don't know if he's doing the research or not. I'm thinking probably not. So we need to dig down here and see who's doing it. Okay, so Heather Willauer is a research chemist who's done nearly a decade of work. So we need to find Willauer's paper is what we need to do, because it's not really cited in that article. So this is, I'm going to give you I'm going to go ahead and do it right now, but this is the next step in doing the research. So like, gosh, that sounds pretty cool. I want to learn more. So we go here. We can go to a library. Then I promise we'll get into geothermal. I do want to dig into that. And my favorite is the Web of Science, and I just go ahead and use it. That's my recommendation. It's the most widely accepted and comprehensive. So I'm going to go right here to Web of Science. In the W's, and there it is. I made my $3 donation to Wikipedia today. I felt compelled. I know I've gotten way more than $3 out of them. There's a New York Times magazine cover article a few years ago with the founder. I can't remember his name, Jimmy somebody or other, but he was there on the cover of the article, like, kind of looking like a pauper out on the street. You know, no money in his pockets, unshaven. He's like he's the poorest rich man in internet tech or whatever, because he doesn't have any advertisements, right? That's kind of part of his little claim, is that he's non-commercial, but he pays for it literally by not making any money.
Well, they haven't played it safe with the way the car looks, that's for sure.
Okay, so
The 18
under
still follows parts
Web of
the
Science, you
design
can
motif Cadillac debuted over
search
a
by
decade
topic.
ago.
I'm just going to start out with
Matured
fuel,
wonderfully. Well, they haven't played
and I am going to add another field, and I'm going to type in or copy in Will Hour's name.
Diane's still hungry this Black Friday.
And just
So
with
she's
the
chewing up
topic
savings
and
on
a
Dell
name,
laptop, a 60-inch Samsung
I'm gonna see how many
4K
hits I
TV,
get.
and more. Diane's still hungry this Black Friday. So she's
Research.
chewing up savings on a Dell laptop, a 60-inch Samsung 4K TV, and more. Diane's stuffed, and so is her cart.
Okay, I got
Win the
28.
holidays at Best Buy.
The very first one actually looks pretty promising. An economic basis for literal land-based production of low-carbon fuel from nuclear electricity and seawater for commercial use. So it looks like this actually came out after that first article. So she's been quite active. It could be that this was the original paper, but I'm kind of liking the looks of this one. So again, this is 102, so you got to get two papers anyway. You might just grab the first one, grab the second one, and call it good. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can grab this. It hasn't been cited yet. I'm also kind of surprised to see that this one hasn't been cited, because it seems like a pretty revolutionary technology. Let's just see what she's got here. 3 separate U.S. military databases were used to estimate the U.S. Navy operational fuel needs from sea for the last several years. Okay, so it looks like there's still, so it looks to me like the primary energy source is still nuclear. I think they're still consuming nuclear energy on board the vessel. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting from just reading the abstract. It's not clear if some of the, and I gotta be honest, I do not know the meaning of this word. Have you guys seen that before? Oh, okay. On the shore, so littoral. Tim Chester would have known that one right off the top of his head.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not on land, it's not on sea, it's on the shore. Let's see if we can't grab this paper here. Look up. So I'm going to click on look up full text. Download PDF. Let's see if we can do that. It could also be that that they're still using a combustion process on board, but that there's some kind of synthetic fuel being made at the nuclear power plant on shore as well, rather than, and so they said there's some other carbon source here. I don't know where that is. Could be they're sucking it right out of the air. I don't know. It could be that, well, and here's your chance to dig in and look at some of the chemistry and say, where is this carbon coming from? Where's the oxygen going, if in fact it's, coming from CO2 in the atmosphere. Just don't know. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to take one more quick look at the chemistry. I'm just going to see if there's any chemistry in here we can sink our teeth into, and then we'll get on with geothermal. But you can also see that these authors are taking a very integrative approach. I mean, they're looking at electricity, they're looking at nuclear, they're looking at carbon, and that's really where this book concludes.
When is this one due?
Just by the end of the semester, yeah. Okay. I do not see any chemistry in here, but there are some good economics in here. With your summary 4, you're already doing a little bit of economics anyway, so here's a chance to keep that on. So I would go ahead and grab this paper.
Now, do we need help on the equation in this already too?
Yeah, you should have some kind of equation. And if you can't come up with an equation, just say, hey, here's some economic analysis, and just something quantitative would be fine. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to save this guy. And here's the way I like to save papers. Let's see, what's the author's last name? Willauer, Willauer. So I'm going to save it like this. Willauer, 2015 naval fuel. The rest of that stuff does not mean anything to me, so I go by the first author's last name, or the main author's last name, then the year, and then what it's about. Okay. I love to see this when it says 50% will come from alternative sources. It's sort of like saying that 40% of the people are majority. Yeah, I think for the first time in the recent history of the United States, white people or Caucasians or whatever you want to call them were no longer, they were like fewer than 50%, so there's really no longer a majority. But when they keep calling fuels, renewable fuels that comprise more than 50% alternative fuels, at some point, what do you, alternative to what? This other crap that's, so anyway, I guess my bigger point is that the word alternative is an old word that doesn't really have much relevance in today's energy tech. Okay, so that should get you started on summary 5.